Hey everybody, good to be back for another video, another episode of the Tamara Tamu Show where dreams have no filter. How's everybody doing? I cannot wait until I can either go live on YouTube or, find another way to go live because I think going live is going to be more valuable and is going to be more interactive with everybody. So I'm still throwing some options up in the air and just seeing how I want to go about doing that because I really want to go live. So anyway, I'm just glad to be back for another video. Thank you for joining me once again. Thank you to all the subscribers, including the new subscribers that I see. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share. And also, I'm curious to know, let me know where you found me or how you found me in the comments below. And so, you know what? The last two videos, we have talked about perfectionism. All right, perfectionism is a scam, part 1 and part 2. I hope you have watched those videos already. So in this video, I want to talk about intuition. And so I have a lot to say with no notes. And so maybe this will be intuition part 1, part 2, part 3, if need be, because again, I don't want to make these videos too long. So let's get into it. The first thing that I want to say about intuition is that your intuition in knowing when you are being guided by your intuition, that is a practice that evolves and gets stronger and stronger and stronger as you evolve, as you experience more. So we have to stop looking at intuition as this thing that you get to and then you've arrived and that's it. It's a constant, it is a practice, okay? Using your intuition is a practice, like meditation is a practice. It's not just something that you arrive at and then that's it. All right. So always look at intuition or view intuition as a practice that is constantly evolving. And the moment that you think that you know your intuition and you're very much in tune and you have fine-tuned it over time, the moment that you think that you don't need to fine-tune it anymore is the moment that you're going to have an experience that's going to remind you, well, no, there's another step and another step and another step and another step. Your intuition evolves as you evolve, as we expand, as our being expands, as our soul becomes more expressed, okay? Which is tied into our vision that we have for our life and how we view, how we want our lifestyle to be, how we want to spend our time. I know I've said that over and over again. That is the base of the show. So you're going to hear me refer to the vision that we have for our life in every single episode. All right. So intuition is tied into that vision. And it's tied into, we're going to circle back to perfectionism. So we've said, or I've said in the last two videos, what perfectionism is, how it keeps us in a holding pattern from going to that next step in who we are. It keeps us in our comfort zone, which puts a lid on our intuition because intuition does not align with the limiting factors that go into perfectionism. So, for example, perfectionism says, you know what? Before you take another step, you need to know step B, C, D, E, F, G in that order. You need to know time frames. You need to know dates. So you can't do anything until all of those are put in place. Intuition doesn't care about any of that. It does not. Intuition doesn't care about time. Intuition doesn't care about convenience. Intuition doesn't care about what's convenient. Intuition also does not care about what your actions may look like to other people. Intuition doesn't care about any of that. All right? So the two do not mix. Like oil and water, they do not mix, they don't go together. Which brings me back to bringing up perfectionism again, which is why perfectionism cannot be a thing for you. It is not a thing. If you are, especially, this is even more so for a person who, if you're watching this and you've always been logic, analyzing logic and back and forth, and you've never allowed your intuition to be expressed. The good thing is that you don't have to find your intuition because it's always there. It has never left you. We're born with it. It's not something that we had to work for. It's always been there. So if you are now at a point where you're like, okay, I've done the whole analyzing thing and it's kind of worked for me, but I know that there's another way. It's this intuition thing. I really want to tap into it. You have to know that the perfection and how your actions are going to look to other people, even how your actions look to you and to your ego, that's not going to work. The two are not going to work together. So you have to make a decision, and this is for all of us. We have to make a decision to say, I'm going to trust my inner guidance, because that's really what intuition is. That is what intuition is. It is your internal guidance. Also, perfectionism says, you got to ask about 52 and a half people to make sure that this is what you should be doing, or asking somebody for permission before you do that to see if that even makes sense. Intuition is not going to have you do that. Intuition doesn't do that. Okay? So, also, when it comes to following intuition, what you have to know is that intuition is not tied to an outcome, whereas perfectionism is. Perfectionism says, if you do step 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to have this specific outcome. And if you don't get this specific outcome, then you did it all wrong. You're not worthy of what you want. You can't do it right. So just scratch it. Scratch it off the list. Move on to something else. Intuition doesn't do that. Because first of all, like I just said, intuition doesn't care about steps. Okay? Intuition doesn't care about step 1, 2, 3, 4. Intuition will say, okay, step 10, step 5, step 7. Not that intuition will have you all over the place, Intuition will just guide you to take a step when you don't know what is on the other side, because it's not attached to an outcome. Intuition will say, do this because this is what feels right. One of the things that keep us, in addition to perfectionism, one of the things that keep the lid and keep us from not trusting our intuition is that a lot of times when you hear people talk about intuition, it's this, we're expecting this big thing to happen. You know, if you are guided to do something, then the sky has to turn purple, like Prince said, or the lights have to flicker, or a bird has to smash, the window, or something crazy. No. Intuition is not loud. Intuition does not broadcast. Intuition does not yell. Intuition is subtle, but also commanding at the same time, but with no outcome. Whereas perfectionism will say, you know what? If you do this, this is going to happen. Or if you do this, or if you don't do this, then this is going to happen. That is why part of the root of perfectionism is rooted in fear. Because fear is attached to an outcome. Intuition is not. Intuition is wise. Intuition also respects free will. That's why intuition doesn't yell. Intuition does not yell. Intuition is subtle, but it's commanding. You know when you're guided to do something. But then what happens? We start wondering, okay, well, how is it going to look? I don't know everything. I don't know the next steps. Does this make sense? Well, I don't have the history. I don't have the back history. I don't have the backstory. I don't know. That's what keeps us in a holding pattern. So we have to stop looking for any outcome. When we're guided to do something, we just do it. Also, what you have to know about intuition is that the result of you taking an action that you are guided to take, many times the result of that action, first, there is an internal growth or expansion that happens, which eventually reflects on the outside as a result or as an outcome. Which is why, and I'm going to say a few things here. I'm going to say one thing first, and then I'm going to use an example. Which is why we have to, when we're guided to do something, another reason why we don't move in that direction is because the action, we label it in the wrong way. We label it as being small. Well, that action doesn't seem big enough. It doesn't seem like, it's big enough to put a dent in what I want to accomplish, or it doesn't seem to put a dent in this vision that I have. And we have to that's judgmental, and we have to remove those judgments from the action that we take. Because what you have to understand is your vision is not just about having certain things or having material things. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not what I'm saying. But what you have to understand, as part of your vision, part of you expanding, we can't forget that there's a certain way that we want to feel as well. How do you envision yourself feeling throughout your day? Feeling fulfilled, feeling joyful, just being happy because you're excited about what you get to do throughout the day and how you get to spend your time. So we can't forget that. So that's why we can't look at, when we're guided to do something, we have to take off the label of, well, that seems too small of an action. Doesn't make sense. We have to remove that. What you have to ask is, okay, where is this guidance coming from? Why do I feel this now? Do I feel joy about this? Am I being energized to take this action? Or do I feel like it's something I should do because I don't want this to happen? That is not intuition. That's how you know that is not intuition. So, for example, there was something that I wanted to do. There's a place I wanted to go. There's something that I wanted to look at. And I knew, eventually I would get around to it, because I made the mistake of viewing the action. First of all, I overanalyzed it. I viewed it as, well, doesn't really make sense to do it right now. It's too small. It's a waste of time. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to wait. Well, when I woke up this morning, there was this tug to do it today, to do it this morning. And I couldn't ignore it. And it wasn't and of course, the logical mind and the ego, that, first of all, the ego's not going away. You don't want it to go away. The ego is not bad. So I wish, there's a lot of people, and there are a lot of videos that I see out there that are, talking about ego death and all that. No, you don't want your ego to die. The ego is not a bad thing. Okay, so we keeping the ego. All right, we keeping it. But when you make a decision that you're going to listen to that inner guidance, you're going to listen to that inner source that knows all, that is connected to your soul, that knows. Because your logic doesn't know anything. I know that sounds like a paradox, but your logic does not know anything. Your logic only knows what, based on what you've seen with your physical eye, what you've experienced, but your soul knows the unseen. Okay? Your soul knows the unseen. So that's why intuition is so important. So anyway, got up this morning, and it was a pull to do it today. Go today. It wasn't loud, but I knew what it was. I said, okay. And so, again, I'm getting dressed, and, of course, I'm trying to, the ego is analyzing, and logic is saying this doesn't make sense, and blah, blah, blah. Kept going. Did what I needed to do, got to my destination, got the information that I wanted to get. And then it hit me as I was looking at the water, coming back home. And this is a side note. I should have done this video. I don't know why I didn't think to do this video by the water, but I had all of this information, this download coming, because I didn't plan on doing a video today. My videos are never planned because I want them to be a flow. But anyway, I was getting all of this information, and it didn't dawn on me to do this video by the water. That would have been perfect. But anyway, next time, maybe. We'll see. So anyway, it dawned on me that I'll go back to why I said it earlier. Intuition is not tied to an outcome. Intuition will guide you to do certain things that may seem at the moment don't seem to directly align with your vision, but that action puts you in the mindset of, okay, well, I have this vision. That person that has all of those things, that has stepped into that identity, this action step is what that version of me would do. So it's perfectly aligned. And while I was taking the action, it felt natural, it felt energizing, it was fun. It was kind of like I found myself deep breathing. It was like a breath of fresh air for me. So sometimes, many times, a lot of the times, the action step you take, and remember what I said this about 5 minutes ago, the action step that you take is for the internal first. And then the outside, what materializes on the outside, is from the expansion that you experience on the inside. From taking action, putting on that identity, embracing the vision, that higher version of yourself, the way that your soul desires to be expressed on this physical plane. It starts on the inside, then the outside will be expressed. So let me know if you have any questions to, first of all, I know this video is about intuition, then it's about perfectionism. So if you want to know, you want me to talk more about just intuition, period, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions about intuition, let me know that in the comments as well. Also, if you haven't already, check out my book, Your Cosmic Unleash. I wish I had a cover to show you. Okay, so I'll save the cover. But anyway, the link to the book, it's an ebook, and it's available on my site, iconicbytamu.com. Again, the link will be in the description. So until next time, cheers.